Hello, you beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. We talk all things life, love, spirituality, love attraction, and all of that juicy goodness. We are here for a quick little pop-up reading. It might not be quick. It could be long. I don't know, but I felt guided to film. And today is Thanksgiving, and I'm home alone filming. Like, what am I doing? So yeah, about a couple hours ago, I felt my body was like so sensitive. It felt like I just kept hearing, stay home, stay home, stay home. Like, don't be around other people. And I was going to go to my brother's house, and there's going to be a ton of people there. It's all his wife's family. They come, and then me and my mom come, and then my sisters go to their in-laws. So it's kind of just like me and my brothers, his wife's side of the family, who I love, but I don't get to see my nieces. But something just said stay home. And then as I was, as I texted my brother, I heard start filming. So we are here. We're posted up. We are filming, and I always follow my guidance. And I know that if I don't follow my guidance, my body starts to hurt and it starts to make things more difficult. So here we are. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm sending you all so much love. If you're not in the States, or if you're in another country where you don't celebrate. I know there's some countries that celebrate Thanksgiving. So I just want to keep this neutral for everybody. This is not a Thanksgiving reading. This is just a fun reading, Okay, so let's call on our guides. Archangel Michael. Yeah, let's have everybody take a deep breath right now. Drop your shoulders. Close your eyes. Take a long, deep breath in through your nose. Hold it for a bit. And then let out a nice exhale with some sound. Okay, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, please open sacred space. Please only allow the highest and whitest light messages to come through. Bless me. Bless my cards and bless my beautiful viewers. And please bring us what we need to hear today. And thank you, Palo Santo, for smelling so yummy and so delicious. I love you. Okay, I just got guided to kind of like fix and perfect this deck as it was sitting on my table. This is Tosha Silver's Abundance deck, lots of cool messages. So let's see why they had me fix this deck. My phone's on Do Not Disturb so it doesn't interrupt my filming. All right, here we go. The very first message. Let's see what jumps out. What are all of you needing guidance on? I just heard patience, resting more, doing less, being calm, taking care of yourself. Self-love is a huge theme this month. Oh, that was weird. Did you guys hear that? Okay, we have clearing. Where are my glasses? This is a little bit of tiny print. As true offering arises, it becomes easy to let go. You start to trust that more will always arrive. You shift from mine to God's. Such freedom. All right, so when your ego wants to start to grip onto anything in your life, you have to remember nothing is ours. I always say the money's not ours, everything is God's. This lamp is God's, this angel is God's, these cards are God's, this table is God's, nothing is mine. Nothing in this house is mine. Everything I am just borrowing while I'm here. And when we offer things up and we say, okay, if money is not ours, or if this next opportunity is not really ours, and if it's in God's hands, then let's ask for it. Let's do a little offering and say, nothing is mine. I offer everything up to you. You just bring me your things that I need to use in this lifetime as a vessel, a tool to work with my vessel, maybe to deliver whatever messages you want me to deliver. So I believe we're all here to kind of sing God's song. And that might come out in, so many different ways. It could be different types of songs, and songs are symbolic for your gifts, whether it's being a doctor, whether it's being an intuitive reader, whether it's being a writer, a teacher, a pianist, anything that you're really good at that you feel like the world needs more of, that's God's song that's coming through you in your body. So when we can clear out the resistance that's in our body that keeps us from doing that thing, which if you think about every human on the planet right now, they're all sitting in their house, maybe they're celebrating a holiday, and they all have this little gift that's unwrapped inside of them. Some of them have unwrapped it and they're using it and they're sharing it. And some of them have it still wrapped. And the reason why it's not open yet is because they're too scared. They're scared that this gift is so precious that they're scared to show it to the world because everybody might have comments on it. Everybody might diminish it. What if it's not good enough? What if they can't make money doing it? So people just keep it wrapped up and they don't ever open it and share it with the world. So this is, I think, a deeper meaning here is nothing is yours except for your gifts. And it's time for you to start sharing them. And anything else in your reality, be grateful that you have it because it's God's. It is not yours. We're not going to cling to anything but our own gifts. So it's almost like detaching from the 3D reality and stepping into a version of us where my throat chakra's going nuts. Literally clearing my throat. It's like we're pulling away from the mind. The mind wants to own things. The mind wants to attain. It wants to hold. It wants to grip because it thinks those things will bring it happiness. And we know that that's not the case. We know that, our gifts and our connections on earth and the people we fall in love with and the people we share our time with, and even just strangers, that is I would say the true meaning of life is enjoying those small moments with a stranger, those small moments, realizing that, this thing is not going to make me happy. It's my experience with the thing that could possibly bring me a memory in the moment, I guess you can call it, that's what we want. We want tons of good memories. Okay, let's move on let's do my ever unfolding heart deck. All right, you guys, how cute is this little angel? My nieces came over the other day to sleep over and they're like, Shushi, we got you a little angel. And look, she's holding a little star. So she's like a little star angel. Stars have meant a lot to me lately. So she is here with us in this reading, that cute little star angel. Obviously, it's symbolic of my daughter. If you're new to my channel, I had a daughter that passed away in 2012. Her picture's right here. And her spirit is alive with me in all of these readings. I have angel wings as my bracelet in memory of her. I have this angel, which is from my aunt. She bought it for me. It says, God bless Micah, which was her name, which means one who is like God. So there's no coincidence that I was not spiritual when I named her. And when she passed away, and then when I spiritually awakened, I was like, oh, there's so many little seeds planted back in me before I awakened. And it's just so cool how God does that. All right, it says, check in with your relationships. Are you thinking of someone and feeling unsettled? Dive deep into why. So these cards aren't super fancy. When I first made them, it was more just about the messages. So if we're doing some clearing and we're releasing the ego's grip on our lives, now we're connecting it to a relationship. So if anybody watching this is wanting to become an intuitive reader, you try to make the cards tell a story, or spirit is trying to, give us certain cards that go together. And when a card follows another card, there's usually a hidden message that's connecting the two. So clearing and then relationships. So either there's something stewing inside of you. I had a client the other day who she was needing to speak her truth to her ex. And I believe I talked about this in a video. And she did it. And she had been having sciatica pain for like, I don't know how many weeks, but she was stewing over the fact that she didn't get to say everything she wanted to say. And I told her, I was like, do it. I was like, you got to do it. And she texted me today and she's like, the pain is gone. She's like, I did it. She's like, I had the conversation. We talked on the phone the other day. She goes, I didn't feel anything that night. My back feels good. And that's kind of like this. It's checking in with the relationships around you, all of them, right? even if, because today's Thanksgiving, like what family members do you have turmoil with? Where are you feeling hardship between somebody? Where are you feeling hurt by somebody? And where can you detach, right? If you're clearing these maybe karmic, I just heard these karmic knots. All right, so we want to undo all the karma in this lifetime. From what I hear, again, I don't know everything. But from what I'm learning is that we're on this planet during this time and we're here to clear karma. So we can move into that heaven on earth. We can move into that 5D energy, and we cannot move forward with baggage, with heaviness, with density. And density looks like a lack of forgiveness, a lack of compassion, a lack of warmth. And sometimes I just heard that people along your path will come along to kind of poke you in those buttons to say, I'm going to release you from this lack of compassion. I'm going to teach you compassion. And certain relationships that we are thinking about right now, that might be teaching you something. You might be being drawn to be around certain people that are triggering you so that you go back into your self-growth and then you figure out, why is this triggering me? Where does this stem from? I had another wonderful woman from Sweden. We did a client call the other day, and then a couple of days later, she had a memory of her mom being really, really sad for a long period of time, kind of like secluding herself in the bedroom. And my client was like 7 years old and kind of didn't know what was going on. And to this day, she still doesn't know what happened between her mom and her dad. And they never got divorced or anything. And it was just very like mind blowing for her to have this memory of this time. And we were on the call and I was asking her, do you have any memories? And it was related to a certain topic. And she couldn't think about it on the call, but she always thinks about it later and she always gets it later. And she messaged me, and I feel like that's connected to this. It's like, are you having memories surface of maybe something that you witnessed in childhood and you're like, oh my gosh, this might be why I'm, blocked in a certain area of my life, or maybe why I am scared to let people in, or I'm scared to open up my heart again, is because a lot of times if we grew up in an environment that felt like pain, and it felt like neglect, and it felt like abandonment, and it felt like rejection, we then associate future love with all three of those. So, and that's all unconscious. So our mind might be saying, I want a partner, and you're manifesting, but the body is like, hell no, we don't want to feel that pain again. And it's no joke. Like, it's a real thing. Like, your body will not let you go near it, and you'll sabotage it if it comes near you. So you have to be mindful of what really did happen to you. What did your eyes see in childhood? And how can you have compassion and clear that karma, clear it for your parents, and maybe be the one to say, you know what? If I came to do this work in this lifetime to fix my ancestral line, to kind of tidy up, to undo all the knots and allow the energy to flow in my family line so we can all love each other and there's no more discord, we have to figure out what happened. We have to figure out what is the root. Why are we blocked? And I just got guided to do tarot. This is Angel Wisdom Tarot. I just wanted to share also that my mentor was here yesterday and we were doing a best session, which is called bioenergetic synchronization technique. And I've had about 5 years of them. And it's working with breath work, focus points, pressure points, and it's realigning the nervous system, the subconscious, and the conscious mind. So it's kind of making newer, I guess, neural pathways. But I think about the trauma for 30 seconds. She gets the diagnosis of the certain things that I'm going to have to do, how long I hold my breath, or what type of breath work I have to do, what number I'm going to say, what word I'm going to say. And then she gets the pressure points on my head, and I have to look a certain way the whole time. And it's very intricate. And it's literally, I love when they jump out like that. It's literally like, if you can think about all the neurons, they're all going in one groove your whole life, right? It's one groove, one groove. Well, when you do best, you are now rewiring it, right? The body's going to where the trauma was held while I'm in that state of doing the breath work, because I just thought about the trauma. So the body recognizes, oh, this trauma lives here. So then when we do the breath work and the pressure points, all of that energy then goes to where the trauma is, and it makes a new pathway. It kind of grooves into something different. I don't know all the scientific words, but it is wild how as soon as she's done doing it, she'll ask me to think of the trauma. And normally if you think of a trauma, there's a feeling that comes with it. And when I tell her, or she asks me, okay, I want you to think about it. And I'm like, wait, what were we doing again? Like I literally forget what the trauma was. And then she'll remind me, and I'm like, no, I don't feel anything. I feel so blank. And that's the beauty of these kind of treatments. So clearing could also mean maybe you're needing to go deeper. Maybe you're needing, and I just burped twice, which means this is a message you need to hear. Maybe you need to go deeper. Maybe you need to release that sorrow, that sadness, that grief, that pain that you can feel, but you don't even know what it's from. Okay, so best is an amazing thing. Yay, we have 8 of Wands. I love this. This is like my fireworks card. This is happy news and communication coming in fast. Somebody just wanting to like tell you everything. It's like you've been apart for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, maybe your whole life, and you're finally coming together and you're sharing your entire past, present, and even your future dreams together. So this is communication. It says, stress caused by positive opportunities, unexpected events, or rapid changes, the ability to multitask, business travel, too much going on. Yeah, and I don't usually associate with the words on this card. I don't connect to it. I don't resonate with it, but to me, this is somebody's going to be communicating, somebody is clearing. Maybe they're letting go of a partnership. Maybe they're clearing old karma before they can come to you. That's a big one. We have to kind of be out of our ego in order to be in divine union. We can't let the mind run us, because that's going to drive us further from divine love. Divine love is purity, it's peace, it's calm, it's unconditional, and the mind is not. The mind is not any of that. All right, we have a spiritual teacher, wise counsel. So maybe you're going to be seeking, maybe this person is a spiritual teacher who you're going to end up with. Maybe you're needing to go visit somebody who can counsel you in this area. It says unity with a spiritually minded community. You might be joining a community. Ask the divine for help and trust the answers will come. Compare traditional methods with new ideas to see which is best for you. Okay, this is cool because I was just talking about best. And there's so many different ways that we can heal our nervous system. There's somatic work, there's dancing, there's breath work, there's plant medicine, there's energetic work. So this is kind of saying, seek out, go online and kind of look at a bunch of videos and topics on different ways of healing, and see which one makes your body feel good. See which one like lights you up. They say with plant medicine, the medicine will call you. So if you're not feeling an urge to do it, then, and you're putting pressure on yourself because you're like, man, everybody online is doing this and they're doing shrooms and plant medicine and all these different like ceremonies, but you're not getting the download, you're not getting the urge to do it. Maybe it's not meant for you. And I am proof that I've never done any of that. And I feel like I am pretty self-aware, and I feel like I'm in my heart space, and I know that I have more work to do. I'm super, super humble about that. Like I'm continuous. That's why my mentor was here yesterday, because I'm still clearing fears, and and I think when somebody has done this type of work, or they've done well, I should say this. I know a lot of people who have done plant medicine and they're not in their heart space. They don't have compassion for kids or animals, or they're just not to that level yet where that they're a safe space. They're not quite there yet. Maybe the plant medicine helped them, become aware of a certain area of their life. Or I don't know, you can just tell when somebody's heart-led and when somebody's not. So, there are certain modalities that people think, and I believe moving into the heart space is being enlightened or being evolved or whatever you want to call it. It's just being on planet Earth, living in your highest, and that's specific to you. And a lot of people think that there's only one way to get to that highest version of yourself. And this card is saying there's so many different ways. And by me even giving you my example of my healing session yesterday is proof that I am somebody I've never even smoked a cigarette. So like there's different ways that you can, and meaning like I've never dabbled with any kind of shrooms or psychedelics or anything to alter my state in order to get me to heal. I've done it all with a mentor, with certain practitioners, working on my nervous system, and I'm proud of how far I am. I'm proud of the woman I am. And I also think my grief played a huge role in breaking me open. So if you're looking to be broken open, I wouldn't ask for it. And if you do, ask for the universe to do it in a very, very gentle and loving way. But there's so many different modalities. And if you're totally up for, the plant medicine and the psychedelics, go do it. Like do whatever you feel called to do. At some point, I definitely want to try it. But I want to make sure it's in a safe space and with people that I'm really, really comfortable with. Because I just want to experience it at least once. Okay, so we have gratitude. Of course, we have gratitude on Thanksgiving. And it's purple too, which purple represents the crown chakra and oneness. Life is one big continuous circle of giving and receiving. Be thankful for who and what's in your life instead of complaining about what you don't have. If you focus on gratitude, you'll start to attract prosperity and abundance. So this is the key to you stepping into whatever life you want, is gratitude, appreciation. And I can't say it enough that the small moments in the day are everything. What you're wearing, what you're cooking, how your house looks, what music is on. When the sun's out, are you going out and just sitting in it? The sneakers you're wearing, the texture of things, the smells of your home, the smells of babies and of your partner, and how your car feels when you're driving it and the music's blaring and the windows are down. Like those little tiny moments are all clumped together and they create your reality. They create the life that you're literally living in. And it takes small decisions like, I'm going to leave the house and I'm going to go do this today. And that creates more love and more joy. And we have to create it in every moment and every day. And when we're creating it, it really is just, we're appreciating it. We have gratitude for it. We're like, yes, I love this food I'm about to eat. I love the stranger that I just met. And you feel so connected to life. And you start dancing with it. And then you ask for signs and synchronicities. And you're like, holy shit, this came true. You're like, yes, I can manifest anything and it can happen instantly. Okay, let's do an animal. Cobra, another spiritual teacher. This is all about working with a teacher. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So I'm going to put that on wise counselor. Again, you could be a teacher. Your partner could be a teacher. This person that you're going to meet, the person that's going to come in and be communicating to you might be a teacher or a coach. We have the eagle and the camel. Okay, so the eagle has a higher perspective. And the camel is like, hey, if you're dehydrated, you got to jump back in the water. You got to go on a vacation. You got to replenish your energy. Yeah, camel to me is always like you've been on a long journey and you need some water. You need to replenish your energy. Let's get a third card because I don't know why. I'm trying to figure out why those two would be together. Like a higher perspective on your journey, maybe. I just heard the ego, the clearing card, might have something to do with that. Like if you've been dehydrated on your journey, you're about to get a glimpse. You're going to be the eagle and you're going to get a glimpse of why that had to happen, why you had a long drought. That's what it is. The eagle is giving you a high perspective of, oh, that's why I couldn't be with this person until this time, or that's why I didn't get these opportunities until I got the opportunity, because maybe there was a skill set I needed to learn. Maybe I needed to practice something for 20 years before I was ready to be on stage or to start the thing, the book, the podcast, all the things that people do nowadays. It's all clicking into place right now. And the fireworks might be you actually achieving those dreams. It's like you've been wanting something for 20 years and now it's here. And the fast-paced movement might be you but you being like, okay, it's time for me to start working with a spiritual teacher, a coach, a counselor. I need assistance as this fast moving, this pace picks up. And having gratitude, because the teacher will appear. You will not be left stranded during that kind of transition. Okay, here's a deck called Spellcasting. I just felt so good as I was sitting here. I just had a thought, like, I love doing this for all of you guys. Okay, lighten your load. Yeah, this is kind of like the camel energy again. Again, these are back to back, right? We just got the camel last. So it's like you're exhausted. You've been doing so much, and maybe it's just time to rest. Maybe you're allowed to just do nothing. Maybe you're allowed to take a break. Maybe you're allowed to go within and start hiring somebody to help you. I feel guided to read the Cobra card. I have them all saved in my phone. So let's go to Cobra and see what the Cobra says. Pausing, waiting, the inner teacher. The cobra represents a teacher or spiritual guardian. The cobra hovers and watches, ever present, ever protecting, ever loving. The essence of the cobra is found deep within us in the form of the inner teacher and manifests externally in those spiritual or special guides who've led us along our path. What would it feel like to be a student again? What are you ready to learn? Remember the old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. When you're in balance, you are a student of life. You are humble and wise. To bring into balance, take a class and study. When you're out of balance, you're a know-it-all and you're egocentric. So the cobra is a reminder to be humble, to not pretend like you know everything, and to, open yourself up to all different kinds of new teachings, new spiritual teachers, new ways of being. Just because you see certain people doing something and they seem really successful, that doesn't mean that you have to do it that way, right? I don't know what that has to do with that or why that just came through. I feel like the two don't connect, but that came through. So don't judge yourself. Don't be so sweet and kind to yourself. If you're learning something new, be like, sweet, I'm just going to be so kind with myself and say, I can do this. I can learn something new. Nothing's too fast. Nothing's, out of my league. Everything is perfect. And if you're attracting something or someone, or maybe you're attracting a teacher, because it says check in with your relationships. If you're clearing up the karma, you're undoing all the knots, right? You're opening your body up to something bigger and better. And bigger and better can be deceiving because it can tell you that you're less than. So we have to kind of diminish that perspective and say, no, if something's coming in that's, more expansive for me, I'm a match to it if it's coming in. So why fear it? And that's what the ego does, is the ego likes to grip onto it and it likes to say, this is mine and I did this and I'm amazing and look at all I have and look at all I've accomplished. And this is saying it's all God's. Like even look at the bottom, it says God, God, God's. We do not own anything, again, except our gifts. And God wants us to share them. He wants us to push them out. And that's essentially God in the universe is our gifts. I believe we are all these extensions of source, and it's like a big ball of light. Oh, I just also want to say there's a cute movie called Spellbound on Netflix. I watched it earlier and I loved it. And it was all about light and darkness and parents fighting. It's awesome for little kids to understand. The premise was like the little girl was upset that her parents turned into monsters because they were taken over by the darkness, because they were fighting and they were angry and they weren't loving each other. So there was no love in her kingdom and in her castle. And then her parents turned into monsters, and they were there, but they weren't really there. They couldn't talk. And then the whole movie is her trying to break this spell, trying to get them to come back and be like the way it used to be in her childhood, where everything was perfect and they were good and they weren't fighting. So it shows light, and it shows light as like a pond, right? And she's in the pond of light and it feels so good. And here comes a tornado of darkness. Anytime somebody starts thinking negatively or speaking negatively to somebody, the tornado of darkness comes and it like surrounds the people. And if they keep thinking negatively, or if they keep being mean and judging and comparing, that tornado will turn you into a monster. So it's a really cool like energy story about and teaching kids that like to stay in a good vibration. If you're not thinking good thoughts and if you're not being kind, then that tornado is going to come, which is essentially what we teach here, right? We teach about high vibration and low vibration. That low vibration is the tornado and it's real. And if you're not feeling good, if you're beating yourself up, if you're criticizing yourself, and if you're in ego going, well, I'm going to achieve this, or I already have achieved this, and I have this, and it's all very mine, mine, mine. You know, that tornado is going to come and make it worse. It's going to turn you into a monster. So we have to, the clearing card is saying, hey, we're going to clear this up. You need to jump into the light pond where it's filled with sparkling stars and glowy energy. And you're in this pond and you're just like, the darkness just dissipates because you know that everything is God's, nothing is yours, and you're basking in this pond going, use me, I will share my gifts here, I will be love, I won't compare, I will just understand that everything happens for a reason. So go watch that movie, it was really good. But light, and this kind of reminds me of it, if you, to be honest, just the coloring of the light, like that's what it looked like in the movie. But lightening your load is kind of saying like, get out of that ego's drive to want more, to need more, to be more, and just let go of it. You're dehydrated from that. And you're like, I'm done. I am going to surrender to my soul and I'm going to be in the light pond and I'm going to just bask in it. And I'm going to trust that the teacher will show up, the partner will show up, the communication will happen when it's meant to, as long as I stay in the pond and I stay in gratitude and I stay in faith and I move towards my fear when it's time. Wow, mending bridges. I heal rifts. I am a mender. Talk about synchronicity. The whole movie I just shared with you guys was about the parents at the end of the movie. I don't want to like give it away, but they mend it, right? And they figure out a solution and they let her know, the daughter, that, hey, things will never go back to the way they were. And that's life. Life, we can never go back, but we can create new. So this is mending something between two people. Again, check in with your relationships. Are you thinking of somebody and feeling unsettled? So this is proof that there's some sort of rift somewhere in your life. And I know a lot of people on the spiritual journey, a lot of you guys watching, I know you have siblings or parents that you have discord with. It's just part of our journey. And our job is to not run away from it. We have to be menders. We have to mend it. We have to create a bridge between us. And one of the things I learned early on was, side note, I don't know if I finished the story earlier. I had the thought to tell you, but now it's coming up again. So two things. Early on my journey, I was in a situation my whole life where my mom and I just disconnected. There was just anger, there was hatred, I just didn't feel comfortable being around her. And like everybody knew it. My whole family was like, oh, Michelle and mom don't get along. And it was just, we always fought. And when I turned 37 was like the first year that I could actually hug my mom, and I meant it. And I didn't want to leave the hug. It didn't feel uncomfortable anymore. I actually felt compassion and love, and I could see her journey and I could see why she did what she did. And I see why she didn't do some of the things I wanted her to do. And then I started to speak up, and then I started to mend it. And I would tell her like, hey, I'm really sorry that I was such a bitch, for so long. And she's like, I don't know why you hated me so much. And, we all have stories of why we have anger towards our parents, and she might never see that. So I didn't bother going back with her about that because I'm like, she's not going to own up to it. She's not going to see it. So I'm not going to say anything. But I just was like apologizing. I kept my side of the street clean. And I was like, you know what? If she were not here tomorrow, I want to make sure that I have mended this lifelong battle with her. And we did. And I'm 42 now, and it's been 5 years of us living in this brand new reality where I understand her. She asks about me now. She offers to do things for me, which is something I always wanted her to do when I was a kid. She goes out of her way for me. She offers me things. She checks in on me. She asks about my work, which prior to all of that, I would, if you told me that my mom would be doing these things in the future, I'd be like, you're literally crazy. That will never happen when pigs fly. I'm telling you guys, like everybody knew that we had this rift. And I saw in my family line, it's passed down. Like my mom and her mom didn't talk much. And it just was like there's all these different feminine energies in my family line where there wasn't unconditional love. And it's because somebody was hurt, passing on that hurt to somebody else, then they got hurt and they had resentment, then they passed it on to somebody else. And here I am, the great, great, great grandchild who is stopping it all and not letting it continue with my mom. So by me mending this, and I'm hoping this is motivation for all of you. And to be honest, there is absolutely no way I could have hugged my mom back when I was 37 if I didn't do those best treatments, if I didn't remove the pain from my nervous system, because my body is what didn't want to hug her, because I felt so much of the pain that I didn't even know that I experienced. So when we mend a bridge, we first have to mend us. We have to take care of our nervous system. And then we can start to see, oh, they did that because of that. And now I'm not triggered anymore because I did the work on my nervous system behind closed doors with healers, with teachers, with guides. So now I can show up in a room and be with anybody and not be triggered and actually pour into them. Crazy burping. So when you're in now these new environments, so say you guys are on this journey, you're like me, you're finally like accepting relationships and loving them and feeling good, and the wind just like almost blew my door open. That was so loud. So that's another confirmation. I hear a lot of people talk about, well, like I still like, I understand why my parents did it or my siblings, but we don't connect. There's nothing we share in common. There's nothing I can talk about with them. And to me, I think about like, what would God say in that moment? If you were in a room with your family member who you're not connecting with, what would God do? God would ask them about them. God would be humble and God would say, how's your day? How are you feeling? And you don't need anything from them. So you be the parent, you be the loving source and pour into them as much as you can, not needing anything back. And I have chills all over my body as I'm saying this right now. If you can get to that state where you're at somebody's house who you normally don't connect with, normally you're like, all right, there's nothing to talk about. It's time to go. I'm peacing out. I got better things to do. My energy could be used elsewhere. No. If you are running away from something, you are resisting the one thing that you need to heal, the one thing that you came to do in this lifetime. And I'm not saying stay. I am not saying it all. Trust me, not saying stay in toxic situations, because I would never, ever, ever let my inner child stay somewhere that is not healthy for her. But this is harmless. You're just in a house, you know, you're starting to heal, you're starting to be able to be around the people you couldn't be around before, but yet there's still a disconnect because there's nothing in common, because maybe they're not spiritually awakened. You become God and you sit there and you just love them where they are. You ask them question after question after question as if they're a 10-year-old child, and you're wanting them to feel like they're the most interesting thing on the planet. And I'm telling you, I started doing that 5 years ago. I started showing up in rooms, I started talking to people, and I just asked questions. I became curious because I just wanted to play that role. I wanted to be that source of letting God move me. And it's not even a role. It's like, I don't know what the word for it. What would you guys call that? Being moved? You're just being moved by source energy to show up and be source wherever you are, right? My human would sit there and say, well, you're not asking me questions. You're not asking about my life, but that's not what source would do, right? It's the ego, it's the wounding that's looking for them to ask questions. Don't get me wrong, it's really fun and comfortable and it feels good to be seen and validated when somebody does ask you questions. But you have to have this knowing that, okay, I'm going into this environment with these people who I know are not capable of asking those questions. So no expectations. And then if they do, then it's like a plus. It's like a cherry on top. You're like, heck yes. So I just heard because my daughter's name is Micah, and it's the meaning of it is one who is like God. It's like kind of like being like Micah, showing up in the room like Micah. What would Micah do, right? Micah would be present and she would ask questions and she would be curious. So that childlike energy, right? Thinking about a child and how you would treat everybody, come from that childlike energy and be curious. Don't need anything from anybody, no expectations. And this is how you mend relationships. Because I'm telling you, when that family member sees you asking questions, you're interested, you're offering love, you're not trying to, make them be healthier or do different things. You're just pure presence, listening and asking questions. They're going to literally change their behavior towards you. They're going to be different. They're going to want to give to you. They're going to want to show up for you. They're going to check on you. They're going to ask about you. And that's what you've been wanting your whole life. So when you step into the role of God, you create more love for yourself in return. So it's pretty much the giving and the receiving that we talked about with the gratitude card. It says, life is one big continuous circle of giving and receiving energy. And remember, I just heard some of you might be saying, there's no way I can just show up and do that, Michelle. I can't be God around these people. Well, then you need to go work on your nervous system because that's your block. You're having that thought because your body's remembering how painful it is to be around them and how triggering it is. So go first. Remember, I said I've done 5 years of this kind of work so that I can show up in those environments. And to be honest, it didn't take 5 years. When I was 37, that's when I started hugging my mom. That's when I started getting best treatments. As soon as I started the treatments, everything changed. And if you are interested in those treatments, I'll link it in the comments for you guys to contact my mentor. Okay, so someone's being admired online. Yay. Again, we're not attached to outcomes. We're not attached to validation, but it does feel good sometimes to be seen, right? But you're not going to get upset if you're not being admired. I just want to make that clear. Cleanse your energy. All right, we have a little story to tell. I'm going to go get a tissue. My nose is running real fast. BRB. All right, we're back. When I came back from getting a tissue, my guide said to grab the book, Ask Your Guide. So I'm going to pull a page from that next. But I just want to finish off the Micah Magic cards that just all fell out all at once. Okay, so we have let go of old behaviors, cleanse your energy. Cleansing your energy, you guys, I cannot stress this enough that I have a gift of being able to feel into the energy that other people have. So it might not even be their own energy. So when I do my client calls, after I get off of the Zoom, I then, sometimes, and I'm protecting myself. I'm asking for protection before I hop on a Zoom or talk to anybody. I'm asking Archangel Michael to put a white light around me, to put a bubble around me. But those lower vibrations, I don't know if it's part of my gift, but they just flock to me. And then my client feels amazing after the call because I just took whatever they were carrying because they were not doing this. Okay, so I cannot stress enough to you guys how important it is for you to have a cleansing routine. Okay, I'm going to link a video here, or not a video, the link to my website. Maybe I can't do that, but I'll show you a picture on the screen and link it in the comments of a cleansing course that I created because it is incredibly important. It changes your life. Like if you have an energy on you and you don't know it, it's going to cause you to be depressed. It's going to cause you to cry for like 2 days straight. It's going to make you unmotivated. You're not going to want to go to the gym. You're going to overeat and you're literally imploding and you're not living your best life just because you didn't cleanse your energy. So it is so important to go watch that energy course and educate yourself and pay attention to how you feel. I know a lot of you guys are just new on the journey and you're not quite sure. And I don't mean to beat you up, but I just want to save you. I want to protect you from these lower vibrations because they literally latch onto you and they make you think different thoughts. And when I get off a client call, I know I because I have this gift, I know exactly the feelings, the thoughts of that person who was holding that type of energy. So when I get off a call and I'm feeling the thoughts, it's not the person who I was on the call with that was thinking those thoughts. They probably were, but it was the energy on them that was making them think those thoughts. And we're moving into a different realm in this world, and we need to be pristine with our energy bodies. We have to keep it clean. So if you are leaving your house, you are saying a prayer out loud, putting a protective bubble around you. When you get home from being out and about with people, if you're traveling, it is double time. If you are, going to a restaurant, to the mall, if you're being anywhere, the grocery store with crowds of people, you better not walk into your house until you cleanse your energy, because you're bringing the energy of every single person that you were just walking with around into your home. Maybe that's why you're not sleeping. Maybe that's why you can't get motivated to start the project or to keep up with whatever work you are doing. So cleansing your energy, I cannot stress it enough, you guys. I've felt some wicked, awful energy getting off of a call with somebody, and I get so angry at the world that there are these types of energies, because that energy makes me think thoughts that I don't want to be here anymore. It makes me so depressed. It makes me not want to work out. It makes me not want to take care of myself. It makes me not want to put on cute clothing. And I know that that's not me. I've done all this work. So I'm like, oh my God, my clients were carrying this energy and they didn't even know it. And they probably think that they don't love themselves, but it's not their core. It's not the core of who they are. That's not what their heart thinks. That's this other energy influencing them, right? It's kind of like that movie, this dark tornado comes in and it's turning my clients into, so-called monsters. They're not monsters, but they're being monsters to themselves. And that's what this wicked energy does. And we have to stop it. And you have to cleanse your energy so that you are not allowing this energy to influence you. Okay. And I know I'm super sensitive. I'm more attuned to it. I've opened myself up to this lifestyle. I can feel it maybe more than others, but use me as a gift to you. Allow me to share what I'm feeling about you and about these energies, because they're real and they exist and they influence you without you knowing. So if you start to think different thoughts, if you're all of a sudden fearful, out of nowhere, you're just within 15 minutes, you start having fearful thoughts, you have a low vibration on you. And that low vibration finds you when you're watching terrible things, when you're watching murder, when you're watching crime shows, when you're listening to terrible music, when you're in a low vibration, when you're around somebody that's fighting, you just drop down into the level where they all live. And you're just dancing around with all these lower vibrations. The minute you put your TV on and you start watching a scary movie, you just submerged yourself and said, okay, I'm light and I'm energy and you can come feed off of me, fear. That's what you're doing. That's why people say, don't watch the news, don't watch these things, because literally you're going into the underworld and you're saying, feed off of me. Okay. It is real and you have to get really, really stern with it. Okay. Try not to watch TikTok, because on that, unless you can control your feed, because you don't know what's coming next when you swipe, right? The next thing that comes up could be anything. And you want to be super, super mindful. Sorry, I'm like so passionate about this. My throat is all raspy. Sometimes I get so upset that the world is the way it is and I have to not, because then that's low vibration. And then I get into a low state and then I just get frustrated at the world and I can't help everybody and everybody's suffering and they don't know that they're suffering and I just sit and think about it. But the least I can do is put out these free videos so that you can educate yourself and you can feel like I'm screaming at you guys, because I want you to feel how important this is. These vibrations change your life. They can change your bank account. They can change your health. Okay. So let go of old behaviors. That will easily happen when you cleanse your energy. You can trust that voice. Your desires are coming this week. Oh, and if you're looking to manifest, it is almost impossible to manifest when you're consistently, remember, that's the key word, when you're consistently in those low states. So every once in a while, it's okay to have a low vibration on you. That's the point of cleansing. We got to remove it. We don't want to hide in our houses forever, but we have to get pristine with our cleansing routine. But your manifestations will struggle to come in because you're not in an elevated state. You're not neutral. You're sad, you're depressed, you're unmotivated. So trust the timing of these desires and get your cleansing routine down to a science. Okay, let's hear. Maybe this has to do with that. I don't know why my guides made me grab this book. So let's see what they want to say. Left side. Oh, chapter 19, light beings. She's telling a story about, I think, how the light beings came to her. She goes, I was struck by how powerful their vibration felt as it coursed through my being. Their light and love was so great that it felt as if 10,000 watts of energy were channeling through a 200-watt circuit and threatening to blow me apart at any moment. Incredibly, what happened instead was that my heart opened. Wow, we were talking about that earlier. My heart opened to a degree I'd never felt before. I felt intoxicated because I was so high on this wave of love. Every cell in my body felt energized and renewed. Aches and stiffness gave way to absolute peace and calm. All the worry and anxiety in my history yielded to perfect ease. With the assistance of these loving light beings, I felt at one with the universe and with God. They only spoke for a few moments, but talking wasn't the most important thing. They conveyed such a tremendous healing vibration that words couldn't possibly communicate their message. And I later found out that everyone present felt the same thing. By transmitting this powerful vibration of love, the emissaries of the third ray expanded our heart chakras to a much wider level than any of us thought possible. We got the message because we felt it. After channeling through me for several minutes, they receded, thanking us for our attention and telling us to feel their presence again. All we had to do was open our hearts and let them flow through our hands. Then slowly I returned to my own consciousness. I'd channeled guides before, allowing them to speak through me, especially the three bishops, my teacher guides. But never before had I gone into such a deep and altered state or felt so physically affected. After they left, we all sat in astounded silence. We all felt the shift in energy and the exhilarating freedom from fear. This vibration of full loving power was so radically different from the frequency of consciousness we were accustomed to that we were speechless. There was no need to say anything. We were in bliss. Okay, so I feel like light beings, calling in angels and guides, allowing yourself to receive this heart expansion. Maybe we're going to be getting that soon. Maybe we're going to start to experience, a higher frequency in our day, and we cannot be settling in low vibrations. I think that's directly connected to that. You are not able to channel any kind of energy or messages from your angels or listen to your intuition when you're in a low state. Okay, you have to start the basics with cleansing. You have to start there and then allow yourself, call in your angels and guides, call in your light beings, whatever you feel called to. And you're asking them to come into your heart, to expand your heart, open up your hands, feel the energy coming through your hands, and ask for protection from Archangel Michael before you do any kind of calling in any entities or energies or angels. You always want to ask for protection because, like I said, there's low vibrations. And if you're in a low state and you don't even know that you're in a low state and you start to open up and do a meditation, you're opening yourself up to anything. Okay. And that's the kind of dangerous thing about plant medicine too, is every time you do plant medicine, it's a portal that's being opened. You're intentionally hitting a button, opening your energy up to whatever could come through. And if you're in a low state, if you're in fear when you're going into these ceremonies, guess what you're going to attract? You're going to attract maybe a fearful experience. So we have to be super, super mindful to ask for protection, to not open ourselves up unless we feel pristine already. Okay. And yes, we can 100% meditate. One of my favorite ways to clear my energy after I get off a client call is I just literally go be still. When you are not thinking and when you're not emoting, like no emotion, no thinking, vibrations can't stay on you. Your pure presence, your pure love, your pure peace. And when you're in that pureness, they can't touch you. You literally, it's like your body elevates and you rise up to a different level. So if you feel like right now you have a low vibration on you, or you do not know if you do, go and meditate. no sound, no noise. You can put music on if you want, but that's also a frequency that you might not want. So maybe do nothing and just literally lay there in silence and feel your body. Feel if you start to get restless legs. To me, when you have restless legs, that's the energy leaving you, and it's very uncomfortable. The low vibrations are wanting to grip onto your legs. They're wanting to hang on to you, and all of a sudden you'll just feel it lift. You might feel a pop in your belly, like it kind of feels like you have a baby in your belly. For those of you that have never had a baby in your belly, sorry. But if you're a mom, you know what that feels like. But it feels like a quick little kick. That is a low vibration leaving. Okay, so restless legs can be low vibrations on you starting to dissipate and leave, or they just could be on you and messing with you. And then feeling that popping energy, or feeling like, when you're half asleep and then you kind of like jump. If that happens, but you're in the meditation or you're just in a waking state, that's usually an energy popping off of your auric field. And again, this is just from my experience, how I have interpreted it. But it's textbook. Every time I go lay in a meditation after a client call, I'll feel that pop and my whole energy feels elevated. I feel happy again. I want to go, run 1,000,000 miles. I want to dress really cute. Where 10 minutes ago, I was hating myself. I felt so tired. I just wanted to binge eat. So these energies are literally, it's a matter of seconds that they can leave you, and your whole demeanor and everything shifts. Okay. So I feel like that was a really powerful message that we needed to hear tonight. Let's do a prayer card. I don't know how long we've been going, but I'm going to end it here. Let's do 2 prayer cards. Wow. We have money, totally shifting gears, and self-acceptance. We've gotten this card. I feel like I've gotten this card so many times recently. Nothing is more exhausting than endlessly working on yourself. When you offer your whole being fully to love, self-acceptance arises spontaneously. May I rest in your oneness, dear divine. So again, remember what I was saying, like when we have low vibrations on us, we can't think straight. We can't love ourselves. We can't, it's going to be really hard to accept yourself because you're already in a state that doesn't feel so good. So remember, only do this work after you feel like you're in an elevated state and you feel good and you're like, I want to journal all the ways that I love myself. It's a push to really deepen your connection to you. Okay, final message. Money. All my finances are now in divine order. Love itself knows my needs and is the source for all. I needn't cling to gain or fear loss. Every need will be met through offering all to the divine. Another offering card. So these are both Tosha Silver's decks. So you're offering to the divine all of your worries, all of your fears around money, around abundance, around material things, around relationships. Offer it up. Say, this is not my money. God, can I please play with some of your money for a little bit? I'd love to play with millions. I'd love to play with 500,000. And also think about this, you guys. If you're trying to manifest millions, and I don't want to put this belief in your head, but if you're somebody who's only had a certain bank account that reached a certain limit, your nervous system, that's like your beacon. Your nervous system is saying, hey, this is all we can hold in here. Where 1,000,000 is up here. But how do we get our nervous system to expand, to open up, to hold 1,000,000? You have to go and work with a healer. You have to unpack all of your belief systems. You have to love yourself to know that you're worthy of that. What's going to block it is the unworthiness. I don't love myself, the low vibration, the poor energy every single day and not cleansing your energy. That's all it's all hindering your ability to hold more joy in your life. Because now if you get this big manifestation, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have these low vibrations on you because you don't know how to cleanse your energy. You're going to sabotage the money. You're going to spend it on things you shouldn't spend it on. You're going to think you're hearing your intuition and something saying, spend it here or give your money here. And it's the low vibration sabotaging you. I know of a couple people in my life who I've seen them literally give their car away because they felt like it was their intuition telling them to do it, and they were being sabotaged by fear and low vibrations. They were investing in things, over investing in things, and they all crashed and they all crumbled because they weren't cleansing their energy. They were thinking it was their intuition talking to them, but it was that low vibrational fear energy saying, do it, ooh, buy another thing, spend more here. So you do not want to make any decisions until you're in a state of love, self-acceptance, pure energy. You're out in nature, you feel good. So cleansing your energy is literally the root of everything, because if you can't think good thoughts because you're in that low vibe state, you're not going to be able to create your future. You're not going to be able to make pristine decisions about moving your family to a different city, about whether to take this job or not, because these low vibes influence everything. And go watch that movie. It's called Spellbound. You'll see what I'm talking about. They illustrate it so well in that movie about how the darkness comes. It literally comes to find you every time you're in judgment, you're in comparison, you're being mean, you're thinking a negative thought towards somebody. All of a sudden, just imagine this dark tornado is coming to your house. So you have to turn off that energy. And that's why working with a counselor and a healer and a guide, it's going to teach you to regulate yourself when you start to go there. When the ego starts to create fear, you have to be super mindful to say, no, I'm not going to listen to that voice anymore. I believe that I am taken care of. I believe that everything works out for me. And you find the gratitude. So if you see that dark tornado coming to you in your mind, in your reality, and you're like, I feel like I'm trapped in dark thoughts, go to gratitude. Go to that initial purple card that we got. See the light behind them? There's so much light. And it's funny because, oh my gosh, I just realized this. You guys go watch that movie and this card will make sense. There's like these light bubbles. So in the movie, when they say loving things or when they're thinking good thoughts, these light bubbles come out of their mouth and they generate love and they generate more light. So I am not surprised that my guides confirm this by showing this card. So when you feel that dark tornado, go into gratitude. Remember, the quickest way to remove low vibrations, to get you in a good state so that you can love yourself and that you can co-create your reality, lay in a meditation, be still, and watch your vibration rise, watch the tingling of your feet. And if you feel any kind of ickiness or pain in your body, that's the lower vibration trying to get you to stay in a low state. They're making you uncomfortable so that you stay uncomfortable, but you push through and you stay in the meditation, because the less thinking you do and the less emotional you are, the less they have to feed off of you. So low vibrations feed off of thoughts and they feed off of emotions and fear. Okay, so emotions tend to not always be positive when you're, if you know an energy is on you, you're emotional for some reason, and it's not a positive emotion. And if you keep moving and you keep doing the dishes and you keep trying to run away from this feeling, you just need to sit still and just let the energy come off of you, calm your mind down, and within 20 minutes, you can be cleared. Okay. And I highly recommend doing this in nature if you can. Sometimes I go and lay on my balcony, just feel the sunshine on me. And I'm like, okay, energy's good. And now I can go make a big decision about what to do with my money or what to do about my business or my website or, clients or building a coaching program. I would never build from an energy of panic and fear, because then you're just going to create more of that. All right, lovies, I hope you enjoyed this. Sorry, I was like yelling and screaming at you, but I love you all so much and I don't want you suffering. I don't want anybody thinking those thoughts that I tend to think when I hop off my calls with people. I'm like, it is so annoying and frustrating that there's this energy in the world where people are being, controlled by it and they don't even know it. So build a routine for yourself, take care of yourself, and then be mindful that like when you're holding that energy, you're passing it to your children, you're passing it to loved ones. So it's your duty to cleanse yourself. Okay. It's like, I don't want to call it like a sickness, but think about it. If you're then going and being around kids and you're in that state, your kids are going to pick up that energy and then they're going to suffer and they're going to have nightmares. And maybe they're going to have, tough thoughts that they have to battle. And if you would have just cleansed your own energy, that you could have prevented that. And teaching them to cleanse as well is going to be huge for you. So thank you so much for watching. If you guys need a session on all of this, if you want me to one-on-one teach you how to cleanse your energy, get on a call with me. We can just do one call, book a call, go to my website. You can just book like a coaching call, or an intuitive reading. You can see it, like click on it as an intuitive reading, and we can just only talk about, cleansing, and we can pull cards too to see what else you need. But please book a session with me if you need help in this area. It will change your life. You will never, ever have to worry about going out into the public or being at home and not feeling good, you're always going to know exactly what to do to get yourself to feel amazing. And then what happens is you start to manifest so many cool things. Tomorrow I'm going on a retreat and I'm so pumped. And it is this high-end retreat and it's like a spa and there's all these activities and there's spiritual speakers and I can sauna and cold plunge the whole weekend. I cannot wait. And I manifested it for free, you guys. It is insane how fast it came in. And it's because I am pristine with my energy cleansing. Okay, so this retreat literally manifested within a week because I kept my energy clean. So you can do this too. All right, I'm done rambling. I love you all. Have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful day, morning, whenever you're watching this. Happy Thanksgiving if you're in the States. All right, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.